Awesome. Welcome, everyone. James, close your door. You got to echo. Welcome, everyone. This is our Thursday morning production call. We got a good one lined up for today. We have a ton of people coming out of conference. We have a ton of new agents that are going through the process, getting their license, and still even within their first 90 days. So we're going to go over just the basics of setting up for an appointment, maximizing how to get more appointments, and just kind of the simplicity of it, if a lot of things we hear is how do you write so many applications at once, it takes me so long to prep for an appointment. So we're just going to kind of go through the whole process just to just give you an example of what it should look like. It's never perfect. There's always weird cases. But for the most part, it should be this simple to set up for an appointment and get started as a new agent. So I'll just go through some of the stuff I like to talk about. One, we do learn as a community. So anything that has that you'll hear today, if it helps you, please post on band. We're going to go through quite a bit of nuggets as in setting up, helping you maximizing to prep for an appointment so you can have a higher success rate of writing an application and helping a family. And again, just the ease of it. If any of that helps you, if y'all could please post on band, because we do learn as a team, and it really does help other new agents through the process. So anything y'all can write down and post on band, it really does help another agent. And then my biggest thing is, this is going to be an hour long. It's a lot of really good information. I want to make sure y'all maximize in it. Take notes, write down these things. I'm going to go through a couple websites and stuff so that y'all can kind of set yourself up on your computer and y'all can know where to go to find some of this stuff. The hard part is actually implementing it. You don't have to go change your entire thing. Just add one or two things at a time. Again, this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back and listen to it. Don't go change your entire thing. Always counsel with your upline on anything you hear, and we'll get started. So first, I want to go through. We're a brand new agent, So this is going to help you, especially if you're a recruiter. But if you're brand new or you're about to be, waiting on your license or anything in that part, just making sure you're set up properly, So the first thing I want to talk about is you've gotten the welcome email from Symmetry. The first thing you should do is log into SureLC and make sure you do your 8 contracts, with your 8 carriers. Super important. I love to mention Corebridge. For whatever reason, Corebridge or AIG on most of our new agents, it says y'all are already contracted from whatever date. It's not true. Go in there and still create the contract. You have to do all 8. No matter what, whether you're coming from another IMO or not. That way it starts the process so they can move you over. But it is 8 carriers when you're in SureLC. Make sure you create those, and that way we can get the carriers process started for you. The next one is, as soon as you do that, is knocking out Summit. So there's a new version of Summit, making sure you go through the entire base camp. And then you can also start what's called Activate, and you're going to just start the very beginning of Activate, just up to the point where it says it's a checkpoint and it's time to contact your upline to buy leads. Okay, so you're going to go through Activate, You're going to go through Basecamp, get to Activate, and you're going to stop at the part where it says it's time to buy leads. You do not have to go any farther than that, not to get started. You will in the future. But right now, the most important thing, is you're a brand new agent. We want to make sure you're properly trained and that you're ready to write business so that you can start making an income. Anything after buying leads is not going to create an income for you, Because it's just more training on developing as a team leader and further things. You do not have to go past the part that it says buy. It's stop here and buy leads, because that's where it's time to invest in leads and get you going. Right after that, you should be writing your first application. Highly, highly recommend you write your first application. We teach you to write an accidental on yourself. It's like $7 to $15 for a brand new one, as small as you can write it, or get as much coverage as you need. But the reason is you got to learn how to write an application, I can't tell y'all enough how much an agent will never write an application because they never learned how. and you start dialing and you're nervous because you've never gone through the platform, this is the best opportunity so that you can get familiar with the platform. You're going to get familiar with how to enter it in opt. You're going to get very familiar, I can't say this enough, with signatures. Anyone that's never written an application, when they're writing their first client, we always get the phone call, oh my God, I'm going to lose the sale. I'm stuck. They can't sign it. They can't figure out how to get a signature. It's because you're not following the system, right? Go write an application on yourself, get with your upline. It teaches you so much, right? Because it goes through the process. You get to see what the questions they're going to ask. You get familiar with their platform because every carrier is a little bit different. And more importantly, I can't say this enough, the signature. They are not the easiest, but trust me, when you get to see it and you get to see yourself as the client, there is nothing like that, so that you can get on the phone and say, hey, Bridget, I just sent you the text confirmation. Go ahead and click on here, and I can walk them through exactly what they're going to see, right? If you don't write an application on yourself, you're just never going to know what that feels like. And it just makes it harder to get that signature. So making sure you write that first application on yourself. Once you do that, you should be counseling with your upline. Get with your upline, because now it's time to buy leads. We call it, in our organization, we call it a launch party. A lot of folks call it a one-on-one, get started, whatever your organization calls it. But basically, you've written your first application, you've done Sure LC. Now it's time to get with your upline and go over your schedule, right? What kind of income you're looking to make, what kind of leads you're ready to invest in. And it's time to get started, right? So please schedule yourself with them. It is not your upline's responsibility for them to contact you. You got to let them know where you're at and say, hey, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and sit down today, tomorrow, right? Get on their schedule and say, hey, let's go ahead and sit down because I'm ready to get going. I want to invest in my leads, right? And let's get you started, because we'll go through a whole bunch of stuff of just kind of setting really good expectations, right? Because you can get a raise in your first 30 days, right? So we want to make sure we maximize that for you. The next thing I would say is, when you're doing that preparation, please, you should have, so write these down. You should have 3 things with you. One, you should have the promotion guideline. This is what shows you how to get your next raise, and this is your business plan, right? Like every business that starts has a business plan. They have a 90-day plan, a 60-day plan, and the first year plan. And this is already built for you. This is what you should be shooting for, so that you can get your first raise. The really cool part is you should have Slingshot, because in your first 90 days, you can get a 15% raise. And we want to make sure we maximize it. And guess what? Read it, learn it, right? We get so many agents that say, hey, I know I can do this Slingshot thing, but what do I need to do? Guess what I do? I read it, right? And when I get a new agent, I'm reading it to them. Make sure you read it, you understand it, so that you know, because there's some little rules in here, right? You got to write 3 out of the 4 weeks. If it's a 5-week turn-in, you got to write 4 out of the 5. Your own personal business doesn't count, right? There's little stipulations. Make sure you understand them and know them, right? Because if I don't get my raise, I'm not going to call Jeffrey and say, Jeff, I didn't hit my raise because of you, right? It was not his responsibility, right? We all have the same information. What I love about Symmetry is nobody controls my next raise or my promotion other than me, right? And so start running this like a business. This is your business plan. Make sure you know that. And then if you're looking, right, to move up the levels of leadership, right, I want to shoot to agency owner. I want to be a key leader. I want to be a team leader. Know what you need, right? How many people you need on your team, how much issue paid business, how many have to be direct to you, right? I won't dig into all that, but it's on here, and understanding these, right? Because again, Jeffrey's not responsible for my raise. This is, and me. We're the only 2 things, right? That's the only 2 things that's responsible for me getting my team leader promotion. My key leader, my agency owner, is me understanding this. Again, this is what I fell in love with Symmetry, because I didn't have to do a self-eval, Bridget. It was not based on somebody liking me or not for the year. It was literally black and white. All I have to do is hit these things, and I will get my promotion and I will get my raise. I want to stop there. Any questions on that part, right? So we're brand new, Sure LC. It is 8 carriers. You must do all 8. Getting to Summit up to where you buy leads, and writing your first application, and then meeting with your upline. Do we have any questions from there? Anyone?
I do have a question.
Let's go, Misty.
I'm only licensed for life. I'm not licensed for health.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of the carriers that won't. No. I'm sorry. That's not the issue with that. That's another issue. I can't sell accidental, and I sold one on myself. So that's a whole other issue because I didn't realize that was under a health plan.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up. So you still can write some accidental policies. They're going to be through, you can't do the Mutual of Omaha one because that's a solely health product. But if
Okay.
you don't have your health license, you still can write with Americo and American Amicable. They have an
Okay.
accidental that is hidden kind of inside of a life term policy for
Okay.
$1,000. So
So
y'all
there
can
is
still
some.
write those. Mhm.
Okay.
But go get y'all's health license because it's only limited to 60-year-olds and below.
Right.
We use it, right? You're
And
gonna, most of
I
our clients
haven't
are
been
60
able
to
to get
70.
my EOC yet either, the
The
errors and
E&O.
corrections.
Yep.
So
You will need that. Yep.
yeah, I know. So it's just that stepping stone process right now.
Yep. Just write your
But
first policies, save
so
those commissions, and get them started.
that was the reason the 8 there was 2 of them that wouldn't. I
Correct.
have
They
to
won't
have
let
that.
you. Yeah, you got to
Yes.
have your
So
E&O
am I
insurance.
still good though?
Yeah, you can start.
To
You can
start
start,
dialing
right?
and all that. Okay.
You can start,
Okay.
but you want to get your E&O insurance as fast as possible so you can get the rest of the
Yes.
carriers because you're
Yes.
limiting
Okay.
yourself to how to help a family.
Okay. I was just making sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong by starting before I had all 8.
No, you're good.
Okay. All
And
right.
then we got Michael.
Yes, sir. Can you go over which ones they are through America? Because I am only life also, and I have about 15 people that need accidental right now.
Yep, get with your
doctors text
upline
me to
because
them,
make
so.
sure, right? So get with your upline so they can make sure what products they want you to write.
Yep, okay,
It'll be a little bit different through there. So that's
gotcha,
a good
okay,
question.
yep, thank you.
Anyone else? Before we go to the next part, right? So again, we got all 8 carriers. Y'all brought up some good point, right? Make sure you get your E&O insurance. If you don't have your health license, you still can write some good accidental products. You are limited, right? Because they got to be 60 or lower with Americo or American Amicable, and getting with your upline to start your first batch of leads.
Hey there, quick question.
Yeah.
I think you and I had spoke before about the first app writing call, but that is with health. So if we are not yet have our health and only have life, can we still go through that first app call?
So not on that call, you'll just do a separate one. Again, you'll be able to do one through Americo or American Amicable. So they have an accidental policy, or you can just write a regular policy on yourself, right? It doesn't have to be the accidental. So we just do that one because that's just the best way to get started.
Right.
Right. But
Okay,
there's
so there's
plenty
another
of products
first
to
app
write on
call?
yourself.
Okay, so we would still go through that call and just write it under a different.
Not on that call, just get with your upline, you're direct to me, so we'll be able to get you something.
Okay.
Yeah, my issue is because we wrote it through Mutual of Omaha.
Yep. So,
yeah, so if it was another company, I think we could have done it. So, but I didn't mention it, and I was just excited.
now you're good. Get with your upline and they will help you out. Let's see. So the next step, right, is so we've done all that, right? We've gone through the process. That basically gets us started as a brand new agent. Now is making sure you're prepared to write business. And I think this one's really important because I think a lot of agents get stuck here because they're like, well, I'm going to dial. You want me to dial right now, but I don't know what to do. Right. And I want to make sure we get rid of those feelings, right? Because guess what? This is like riding a bike. When you first ride a bike, you feel like you're going to fall, right? And it's perfectly okay because you've never done it before, right? Or you're doing it for the first time here in our company. And I want to make sure you feel safe, right? And I think that's really important because it's not as hard as you think it is. And it's just taking a few little steps to make sure you're prepared, right? So, and what I want y'all to hear is we can't help you get prepared, right? We just tell you what to do, right? Like, hey, you should do this step and this step. But if y'all don't go do it, you're gonna have that feeling. So if you all want to get rid of these feelings, this is how you do it because you're able to prepare for absolutely everything because you should never do anything in front of the client for the very first time. There's absolutely no reason to do that, because guess what? You can literally get on your computer right now and go through any application, go through any carrier, go through any quote, right? And not have that feeling. You can quote yourself, your brother, your sister, right? Your mom, your dad. So you can get a whole bunch of different scenarios, and you can go through that process. And again, not do it for the first time with a client so that you don't feel scared. So I want to walk through setting up your computer. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of tabs, easy ways that I've learned over the years, right? To make sure, hey, I'm properly set up with the carriers. Let me see, share screen. Make y'all big over here so I can see y'all. Y'all see me looking to the right? I got two screens, so I'm looking at my other one that I'm sharing. Everybody see this one? Okay, so the first site that you're gonna go to, right, is gonna be Quility HQ. When you log in there for the first time, this is roughly what you should be seeing, okay? From here, right, you're gonna get to go to anywhere you need to go with Symmetry, right? We got up here, we got Opt. This takes us to where we get our leads, right? It's our CRM. Let that thing think, right? We have our sales tools. We have training here, right? You can get all our scripts. This is where you get leads. This is where you start standing lead orders, but everything in here is what you need, right? If you're going to use Switchboard, whatever it may be, writing your first applications or having access to the carriers and products is here. One really important that I love to talk about, right? We all start at an 80% commission. Different products pay us different commissions, right? Because some folks are going to be a little closer to the end. So the carrier is definitely going to lose some money. So we don't get as much commissions, different products like that, right? So this one right here, it says master commission schedule. Know what you're going to get paid on the products that you're going to sell, because based on different years of the term, right? Different age of the client, different products are going to pay you a little bit different commission. It's all within 15%, right, or so. Not a big deal, because usually, right, realize if it's if you're taking a commission hit, it's because it's a product a lot more expensive. So the premium's going to go high. You'll still always roughly average around $500 to $700 a commission per case. So it really doesn't make a difference, but just know, right? Because instead of expecting, hey, I should have been at an 80 or 85. No, you were at 55 at this or whatever it may be. Check that out. Again, your uplines can show you, but I just want y'all to know about these things. Let's see here. Close this. And I think that's all we need on here. The next one is once you start going into your carriers, let's go carriers here, right? This is going to be all your carriers. If you, you should start receiving emails from your carriers. If you're a brand new agent, please write this down. As you receive logins to your carriers and you log in for the first time, you need to save the tabs and the password and logins for every single carrier. Guess what? It's 8 of them. You're going to hear me say the word 8 a whole bunch of times. So you should have 8 logins and 8 passwords saved. I highly, highly recommend, one, you need to use Google Chrome for a lot of our platforms, but I highly recommend you save it and let Google save your passwords. Why? Because as I get my logins to Mutual of Omaha, I want to show y'all, right? I have all my tabs up here and it saves it for me. I just simply log in, right? Just about all the carriers right now have a text password. You just simply, right, get your text. It's sending me the text. 351-334, and then you're instantly logged into any carrier. I can't say this enough, make your life easier, because if not, you're always going to Quility HQ. And one thing I want y'all to write down is once you have logins to a carrier, you will no longer go to HQ, you'll go directly to the carrier to write the application. So when you've written your first application, right, you go the back way to iPipeline. But once you have logins to Mutual of Omaha, see, this is the carrier landing page. Then I have electronic application here. So from here, I'm going to go in, and this is where I, from now on, will go write applications, because it's going to save my information. All my policies will be saved in here, right? You'll see view my cases. All of them that I've written are going to be in here. right? So if you look up here, right, all my carriers, it's really cool. I have American Amicable, right? I can easily log into that. I can go, I even have it set up to where I go straight to the e-app with American Amicable, start my new application. I have SBLI, the carrier. Again, all these passwords are saved. I can't make it easier. Let technology leverage it, right? I even have, let's see, right? Obviously, Equality HQ easily logs in. Again, it saves all your password. There is nothing better to save your password. Once you log into whatever you log in, if you see this star right here, you click on that and it'll let you save it as a tab. Once you fill up this tab, right, it's gonna start dropping down, right? And this is everything I have saved in here. Let's see. Another important one, right, is Zoom. I have banned my Zoom account, right? It has all my appointments, everything saved in here. Even my Sure LCs so that I can always log in there. And I think that's all. Any questions on that? Everyone understand how to save a tab? It should be pretty easy. Whenever you log in, you hit that little star and it shows you exactly where you're at. Let's see. Next one I'm gonna do is, so I have all my logins to my carriers. I highly suggest too, you're able to go into them and start a fake application. You can practice, right? You can go through the whole process. Really cool. Americo even has a demo version, and that one lets you go through the entire thing with signatures and everything as a demo. So again, that's one of our main carriers. So highly suggest you do that, the demo application in Americo, and it lets you do all of them. So it's really cool. The next one is, so we're set up, our computer set up, I'm starting a dial, and I got a client. Oh my God, James. They gave me some health conditions, and how do I start prepping for it? How do I start understanding risk assessments, underwriting? First, what I always love to talk about is when you book your first appointment, don't stop, right? You want to book a good 4 to 6 back-to-back. Don't get excited about one, and I'll go over the numbers in a little bit, but one appointment for tomorrow does not guarantee you have an appointment, because guess what? Clients no-show us. So making sure you understand that. But a site that I love to talk about to help you prep for appointments is going to be SFG Quotes. So it's sfgquotes.com. And this is built by a Symmetry agent. It's really cool because it has a lot of information kind of compiled into one place from all different carriers. I'm going to show you what I use. Again, counsel with your upline. Just be careful, right? Don't spend hours in here trying to learn underwriting. It's case by case. Every client is a little bit different. So book an appointment and then go learn some underwriting, right? Because it's going to be specific to your case. But I'm going to show y'all what I use. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. I love to go to this underwriting cheat sheet. And the reason I love this is, one, I'm always looking for two main things. Either they have a health condition, and that's going to stop them, right, depending on the time or how long ago they had it. And then the biggest thing is their build, right, height and weight. So a nice rule of thumb, if they're over 220 pounds, start looking at a build chart, because that'll start kicking them off based on their height at that point. So 220 pounds, write that down, right? As you're going through underwriting with your client and you hear, oh, I weigh 220, start looking at a build chart, because you might have to go with Americo versus versus Mutual of Omaha. And just because of that, they're going to get declined, right? Because they were 5 pounds off, and the other one would have taken them anyways. So 220 pounds for me is, hey, I need to start looking at this so I can know what if they're gonna qualify. So the cool part here is, so like I go to Americo on the bottom tab here, and it's gonna have their build charts here, right? It's gonna tell me if I'm using Eagle Premier or if I'm looking at their term policies. If I go to Mutual of Omaha, right, it's gonna have their build charts here. Again, it's gonna tell you if it's for Term Life Express, if it's for their Living Promise, what they have to qualify on the lower end of weight and the higher end of their weight as well. And you have all the carriers here. This first tab here, the matrix, it's pretty cool because you'll start looking at their health conditions, right? And I'll just go to like a common one, like we're gonna go to cancer, right? So you see cancer here and you'll go through these policies, right? So like for American Amicable, we use home certainty. So if they had cancer, this is telling us it's got to be 7 years out, right? And then they would qualify for this product. Again, this is just a great reference sheet. I can't say this enough. Counsel with your upline. So go learn this, go get some quotes together, and I'm going to show you what some quotes should look like. And then do not rely on yourself. The system here is amazing, and leverage your upline, right? We have agents that are helping you. Usually on every single team, y'all have folks that y'all can chit chat with back and forth and say, hey, this is my client. This is what I'm thinking of using for them, right? Because one, I want to make sure you're getting paid max, right? Because you can use the same 2 products and you get paid more, a lot more, if you know, right, their commission schedule, and it's going to be almost the same price and it's the same coverage. Like if you're going to compare Americo's, right, Eagle Premier to Mutual of Omaha's Living Promise, same product, same coverage, you're going to get paid quite a bit more, almost 10% more with Americo just by using that product, right? Versus going straight to Living Promise with Mutual of Omaha. You just don't know that, right? So always counsel with your upline, right? We do want to make an income. It's the same product for the client, right? Other than the fact that you don't know you're going to get paid 10% less on commission, right? By using different products or different years. So always consult with your upline. Let's see. What else? That's all really, this is the only thing I use. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. Don't get lost in a lot of it, right? This is just a great way to get some quick answers and start understanding it. The other thing is, when you got a case, I also suggest start learning how to call the carriers. So I want y'all to know every single insurance carrier has 60 people on a team that are waiting for you to call and do a risk assessment. So write that word down, a risk assessment. If you've never done one, do one for fun, right? So your next case, right, and you're like, hey, I want to write Americo, or hey, I want to write American Amicable, do a risk assessment. You get to call the carrier and you say, hey, I'm thinking of using, right, Term 100, home certainty. These are their health conditions, right? Does it sound like this is a product that they would qualify for? They're literally searching it up. They're doing the underwriting for you, and they're going to say, hey, you know what? No, they don't qualify, but they would qualify for, right, our Dignity Solutions. Or they'll tell you, yes, they would qualify, or hey, you know what, it's on the line. Go ahead and submit the application, right? They may, and they'll prep you, right? Make sure you ask the client this, right? Because they're going to ask questions on this condition or whatever it may be. So they have a whole team ready for us to do a risk assessment. Highly suggest y'all learn how to start doing that. Again, because some cases are different. When certain things start to compile, right? They smoke, they're diabetic, and they're this, right? Just because it says they would qualify on the chart, they won't, right? Because now it's multiple conditions all at the same time. So when it starts getting like that, even us that are experienced may not have the answer for you. The risk assessment is going to be the best way. Any questions on that? Risk assessments and quotes.
If I can just add to the risk assessments, AmAm, if you're using them, you can chat with them. Their chat system is amazing. Great way to chat, and they respond within 60 seconds. So if you're using AmAm, you want a quick quote, I love their system for risk assessment. So
I like it. Let's see.
I'm sorry. Is it most insurance? I mean, all of the insurance do risk assessments? I missed that part.
Every single carrier has a risk assessment department.
Okay.
Yep, just you go to their new business and they will help you get up, right? They want us to write business with them, so they're going to help you qualify them on whatever products they have.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So now, right, we've done some risk assessments. We have all our tabs. Now it's time to start quoting, right? So I'm going to go through several of them. I'm not going to quote. I'm just going to show y'all where to get some of these quotes so they can be simple. For me, the favorite one is my phone, right? I got a phone app, Mutual of Omaha. If you go to your phone app, whether it's Android or Apple, download the app. If you type in Mutual of Omaha, it's called Quotes for Sales Professionals. For me, that's the easiest way because I just right click on my app and put in their age, health, and state, and I have all the policies, and it's going to let me quote from them. The next one is, right, you're gonna have to go to the carriers. So I'm gonna go through a couple of them just so that, right, our main ones, so that everybody can kind of see, right? So the first one I'm gonna go through is Americo. Right, again, password save, there's nothing better. Let me see if it'll, perfect. So then we're gonna go down here to where it says Agent Tools. Here's the demo app, right? This will let you do the fake quote and go through the whole application, but this is Agent Tools. We're gonna type in, right, we're gonna go Arizona, they're 35. And so these are the products, right? These are the policies that they would qualify for based on their state and their age. And then the next thing is this is going to be the e-app, but we're going to go to illustrations. This is where it's going to show you, right, just a simple quote. This will be the main one, 35. They're male or female.
They're doing a quote on me.
Yeah, I'm going to do it on you. Right, they're either tobacco or not, right? CBO 100 is their cashback option, their return of premium. We use a lot of term 125 or term 100. You get to pick the coverage amount. We'll just do 250. You get to pick the amount of years, right? Always pick the solid years, 15, 20, 25, right? We don't want just a certain period. We'll do 20-year term. And super cool and easy. It gives you the quote right here, right? So for 250,000 of coverage, it's $67. We want a little bit more, right? We're going to go to 350,000 of coverage. Just scroll down and it automatically starts changing it for you. The next one, right? Go ahead.
And there's you can scroll to the bottom and start the application, which is cool.
Yep. Just go ahead and click there and start their e-app. Right, and the same thing, right? We'll go to like a American Amicable one. Yes, I want to leave. Again, my passwords are saved. Use Google Chrome. It's the easiest thing ever, right? You get to start a new application here, right? We'll do American Amicable. We're going to do their home certainty. We're going to be in Arizona. Same thing. We'll start entering their information, and then it's going to give us a quote at the bottom. Okay, super easy. Get familiar with these. Again, I'm not trying to show you this right now. You need to log in there and start learning, right? Don't do it for the first time 10 minutes before your appointment. It's the worst thing you can do. And the reason I say it is because so many agents do it. And then you're nervous, right? You're just not going to be in the zone. And the whole today's call, what I want to do is bring your comfort level really high, right? I want you to be comfortable with what's about to happen. You're going to be able to help a client. I mean, really, those are the main ones. Mutual of Omaha has one on their site too, if you want to do it. Right, it's their online quote. This is the exact same thing that you're going to see on the phone app, right? I just like to do it over the phone. For me, it's easier. But see, same thing. You're going to do their age, health, right? What
You
state?
even bookmark that on
Arizona.
your computer too.
Yep, so you can even bookmark this one too, right? See how I haven't bookmarked this one? You can do that little star.
And if I can just add something too here, here's a great thing too, just so you guys know. If you go to HQ Quality, you can go to carriers, and then there's a quoting tab. And then so you can click on that for each carrier and then save it in your favorites. So you can save those tabs like Joe was talking across the top. But all of the quoting links are going to be directly in Quality, but you definitely want to save the favorites, but you can go from there to find them, which is super helpful, I think.
Yep, I love it. Let's see. So we got logins, that. Okay, so right, and we're walking through the process. Please, anyone unmute, right? This is super interactive. I want to make sure we answer all questions for you. So we've started a new agent. They've gone through the process. Now they're booking appointments already. We're showing y'all how to write quote, get to the carriers, logins. The next one is presentations and scripts so that you're ready for appointments, right? One, everyone asks for the presentation because we send y'all the videos, right, of us running appointments. Watch the videos. I can't say that enough. If you don't know what videos I'm talking about, you need to contact your upline, right? Get with your agency owner. We have 2 or 3 videos already set of me and Jordan and Elijah running through the presentation, running through a mock appointment of us, right, going through it like if we were a client from beginning to end, actual application taken. Watch them a couple of times. There's so much benefit in those so that you can kind of understand the process. The next one is I want to go to, because this one's a little hidden, is the presentation. So we're going to go to Quality HQ. And if you go through Summit, it should give you all these, right? I'm just do friendly reminders of where they're at. So we'll get Quality HQ up here. And sorry, I got a whole bunch. And we're going to go to sales tools, sales scripts, training scripts. And this is where all the scripts that you would possibly need, right, are going to be. Okay. What we're looking for here is this one right here. This is our mortgage protection presentation, right? So once you click on that, it'll have you download it to your computer, right? It just depends on how you're going to run your presentation. And I'm going to kind of go through this for you, but to see, right, which one you want to do, you'll download your presentation. It's a PowerPoint. I'm just not a PowerPoint fan. I like to see my client full screen, right? But my brother, I love it because he uses the PowerPoint slide. Right. So it's just what you're going to find that's going to be comfortable for you because they both work. Right. The only thing we highly, highly suggest, don't be negotiating with this, is run Zoom appointments. You want to be on Zoom. This is face to face. I can't say this enough. A Zoom appointment is a 70% higher, is going to be a close. You're going to have a 70% or higher close rate. Anyone running appointments, they're holding a 30 to 40. For me, that makes it a non-negotiable. Why would I book an appointment, run it with a client, and on purpose want a lower close rate? You are literally making the decision, I'm going to do the same work and make less money, right? I'm a numbers guy, and that's the only thing I hear. So I'm going to run a Zoom appointment because I want a higher close rate because we're already doing the work, and I want to make sure I get paid. On the Zoom appointment note is let Zoom do the heavy lifting for labor. Right? And building relationships and building rapport. You don't need an office, you just need a wall, right? Where whenever you're running a Zoom appointment, just make sure you have a wall behind you. Make sure the light is in front of you so that it's shining this way. As y'all can see, I'm very bright. If y'all look at y'all's own Zoom and you see that it's a little dark, you need to make adjustments. You want the client, right? This is where this is like going to an appointment, right? And if I showed up in shorts and a muscle shirt, right? Or do I show up, right? And we're not suit and tie folks, but this, right? I would show up in a polo and some jeans, nicely dressed, my hair done. And right, you see my hair? It's done, James.
I just pictured Mark Newbauer, by the way.
Yeah. Right. And so that you can show up presentable, right? Let Zoom do your heavy lifting. Me personally, I don't like a fake background, right? Because I want to see I'm talking to somebody, they're in a real office, they're not right in Thailand or somewhere, right, in another country. Again, it's where you build rapport for your client. So I like to show them that I'm a real person in a real office, because if I do it correctly, they're going to sign up for $100 and something or $200 a month. And I need that trust level to be highly, highly, right, or super high, right, for them. So use it. I don't suggest a blank wall, right? Put pictures of your kids, right? I get to say, hey, look, those are my kids. They see SFG, they see my business license, they see my agency, right? Leverage it. Again, do what you're comfortable, counsel with your upline, but I highly suggest don't do the blurred background. In case y'all don't know, if you do a blurred background, as soon as you move, you start fading out and it just makes it a little bit weird, right? Realize this is all about trust, right? We need them to feel super comfortable. So make sure, right, do your regular background. Just simply turn your desk to whatever wall and it's super easy. Put a picture of your kids, your dog, anything that'll help you build rapport. I love the Roberts, right? They have like sports stuff, and it makes it, right? It brings up conversation as well. My brother, right, sold an app the other day just because he had some hunting stuff, right? Like let your Zoom background do some heavy lifting to build some rapport while you're using Zoom. And then that way, right, when you're sharing your presentation, right, you've built your rapport, and then you get to go to your slides, right? Again, I don't do my slides. James, do you want to just hit on just a couple things on your slides or why you like it?
Yeah, just because it really does the heavy lifting for you. So especially new agents, you don't have those whole script memorized. You don't know what to say. You know, if you get stuck, all I do is I literally read off the script. So I'll just show you some of the presentation. So I let them know, literally has everything here. The mortgage protection, I let them know my license ID. The next one actually gives you the role and purpose. The different products that we offer, I let them know. So I start, planting seeds for the FIF resets. Hey, we do annuities. If you have, income, you want to grow your wealth. I also let them know, hey, we do final expense, life insurance, and of course the mortgage protection. Here, if you don't know what the questions to verify, it gives you all the questions to ask him on here. I mean, I just love this slide. And then usually from here, I start doing the FIF, really the needs analysis here. So you can start asking them really in detail. So here's where you would switch to the FIF and kind of fill out all the questions on there. And then here you want to build concern, building the emotion. It literally has everything on here. Asking these questions here, really dig into them, what they're looking for. The different type of options. This is probably one of my favorite here. Sorry. Just letting them know here what the type of options here. So here it tells them, hey, a lot of people want the full mortgage, and it says it right here. It's leading away. So they're, especially if they're older, it becomes really out of their price range, really out of their budget. And it lets them know, hey, this is harder to qualify depending on health and issues. So they'll read it off there. So you don't even have to let them know that sometimes, and they'll see that is it. So like, hey, you know what? More families usually do this one. It gives them an example on here. Hey, get half the mortgage or partial is more common and more affordable for families. So it's already directing them, especially to get something that's affordable in their budget as well. Or if it's the full mortgage, I let them know, hey, that's in your card. It's up to you. So these are really good here. It even builds on equity protection here, what it is. Hey, it's about 6 months to 24 months. You know, usually it's more popular for 65 and older. So it's giving them all their key folks. So you're really guiding them on whatever they're looking for as well. So I like that part. And then you go into selecting your options here. So this is a little detail here, how I show my clients. I usually just give 2 accidentals and then 3 of the actual mortgage protection ones. Less is more, so you don't want to show them 15 different options. Then you're just walking into, you give them too many options, they're going to be like, okay, let me think about it because you gave them too many options. So keep it simple. I usually just show 2 accidentals, 3 mortgage protections on those. This is for regular full mortgage payout or partial. So this is what I would show a client. And then here's an example. If they have a equity protection here. So same thing, just kind of show them on there, 9 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever you're showing them, and then the accidentals.
Love it. Thank you, buddy. And again, everyone's asking the presentation. So I just went through that. You can go back in the video, right? It's an HQ training and the sales scripts all the way down to the bottom right. And then one of the biggest things, if y'all saw on the slide, right, is pairing the accidental, right? As you start getting to our new leads, you got to have a good close rate as well. So it's very important. If they're 70 years or below, you actually going to show them 2 policies per person. You're going to get the mortgage protection, whether it's equity protection or the full mortgage payoff, plus you're going to write an accidental. So the goal is 4 applications per couple. They're going to get the accidental policy, not as a rider, separate policy with Mutual of Omaha, preferably, right? Unless you don't have your health. And then the other one, right, is going to be either their equity protection or their term, whatever it is, right? So ideally, you want to be able to write 4 applications. When you're seeing folks post on Band, right, it was 4 applications for, right, $4,000. That's how we're doing it. Multiple applications in a home, right? And then that's not even getting to the FIF reset. So again, the rule of thumb for you, write down 70 years or below. I'm showing them 2 applications, the accidental and their mortgage protection or equity payoff, whatever it's going to be. Let's see. Once you have those quotes set up, y'all saw the way James had it set up. Again, leverage your upline. Send that to your upline, right? Send them the options that you've put together and say, hey, look, these are their health conditions. And right, these are the options that I think I want to show them, right? We may just give you some little tips. Most of the time it's, hey, that looks great. But sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? Instead of doing the full 30 years because they're 55 or 56, let's show a 20 years so it could be a little bit closer to their range, right? To their price range or their price point. Just little things like that. And again, sometimes it's like, hey, this policy is going to pay you 10% more for absolutely no reason. You want to use this one so that you're getting higher commissions. This 10% is a lot, right? Once you're writing a $1,000, $2,000 policy. So that's what we have our base shop do, right? So anytime somebody's running an appointment, I'll get a text message. Hey, I have an appointment today. I have a 3 o'clock, a 5 o'clock, a 6 o'clock. These are the options that I'm gonna show them, right? And before that, the prep is, hey, I have clients coming up. I have 3 of them, and they'll send me their information. Well, at this point, right, it becomes like, yes, use Eagle Premier and add the accidental, and then they go work up the quotes, and then they'll send me a picture of, hey, this is what I think I'm gonna use, right? Leverage us. I can't say that enough. Leverage us to help you make sure you have the best options for the higher scenario, right, of you writing a policy and helping that family. And then on still hitting on your upline, do not get off your appointment if you think it's not, you're not right, it's not going well, and you don't think you're going to get a sale. Highly suggest you get a hold of your upline while you're in your appointment, right? Different organizations have little codes, right? Double text me or right, or they already know you're in an appointment, and just simply say, hey, could you hop on, or this is what happened, right? Is there anything you can suggest? And letting your client know, hey, you know what? I just want to make sure I got the right options for you. Let me just check with my manager really quick to make sure this is the best for you. I can't say how much that, I mean, it works so well. Jennifer Phillips has done that in almost every appointment when she's getting an application, right? A brand new agent. Leverage us to no end, because it makes a difference and it makes them feel good, right? They're like, hey, several people are working on my case, so I know this is the best option for me. And a lot of times it's just, sometimes I hop on a call and it's like, yeah, it looks like, right, Jennifer got you set up correctly. That look, that's what I would use. And they're like, okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and do that. Right. So leverage us, right? That's literally why we're here. We want to help you help more families. And they feel a lot, right, better about the decision that they're making when more people are edifying that you're showing them the proper thing. The next thing is I want to hit on, right? So you know the whole process. Now it's like, hey, how do I know I'm finding success or I'm doing the right thing, right? You hear me say this so many times. It's 200 dials or 6 appointments. It's gonna depend on your leads, right? If you're working our lower end, our bonus leads, right, that are a little bit aged, you're gonna dial more, right? So you're that 200, 300 dials in a day. But your goal, no matter what, should be 6 appointments for tomorrow. Right? Like that's how you know, right? So we have nothing but brand new A leads coming in. You'll see our dials only be 70 dials, right? I talked to 13 people and I booked 8, right? But I'm also investing $1,000 a week on my leads, right? So this is a great reference to think of, right? Either I invest 1,000 dials or 1,000 dials a week on my bonus leads, or I invest $1,000 on better leads. Right? But you're going to give up 1,000 one way or another. I promise you. If you want to write 5,000 consistently, because that's what Symmetry is teaching us, I want to write consistently $5,000 in premium every single month. I promise you, it's either 1,000 dials or $1,000, right? If you're a brand new agent, the good part is I think it's about 800 with 40 CI leads. So it's a little bit less. But y'all get the reference, right? Like you're going to have to invest one or the other, either more time or more dollars so that you can have the results. The cool part is if you do either one, you're writing $5,000 worth of business, because you're just going to sit with enough people, right? And you'll be able to help those families. As a new agent, just be very careful of the excitement, right? You'll book 1 appointment or 2, and then you'll stop dialing for today because Jeff, I called them, they said yes, and I booked an appointment and I want to prep for it. And then all of a sudden, y'all start going into the quoters, to the carriers. I think I'm going to write this. And next thing you know, you've spent 2 or 3 hours prepping for this 1 appointment, and tomorrow they don't show up. And now you have no appointments, right? Do not make those rookie mistakes. I've already done them. Just learn from me. That's the only reason I know that happens, because I did it so many times. I'd call Mark. I'm like, dude, I got one, right? That you're not done. What you want to do is if you book an appointment, right, say 3 o'clock tomorrow, you want to book your 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. You want 4 back-to-back appointments. And again, the goal is 6, because why? I love to go through the numbers. So if I have 6 booked appointments and I have a 50% show rate, and that's saying you have a good show rate, because it's normally 40, right? So if I have 6, I'm down to 3. And I can only close 50%. Symmetry's average is you close 50% of your appointments. And if you're a new agent, it's probably a little bit lower, right? So 50% of 3 is only 1, right? So only if you, right? And I only got to 1 that way with 6 appointments. So if you don't have 6 appointments, you may not even have an application because the numbers are just gonna, right? They're gonna eliminate that opportunity. So fall in love with that process, right? If you only got 3 tomorrow, but you got 3 on Thursday, on Friday, right? Realize then maybe you'll write an application in the next 2 days, but the 6 appointments are gonna hold true. And then I love to remind everyone about the sits, right? So, hey, I've sat with 4 appointments and I still don't have an application. You're still perfectly in line, whether you're on brand new leads or old leads, you're still perfectly in line, right? You don't start getting applications until you're at 4 to 6 sits because of the 50% close rate, right? So just remember that you're perfectly in line. Most of the time, it just sucks. Right? We sat with a couple families and they said no. Oh my God, right? This is the end of the world. No, you're just falling in. You're falling right in line with the numbers. You're going to need 4 to 6 sits to start having applications, right? And it's not always perfectly aligned. You can go through your first 6 and have no applications, right? Because it's a law of large numbers. Not until I get to 12 sits, I promise you, if I'm at 12 sits, I'm going to have 5 or 6 applications, right? The numbers are always line up because it doesn't mean your first 6, it happens every single time. Maybe on your 8th, right? The next 2 said yes, and it caught you back up to the numbers. So fall in love with those. I know it's a lot. Any questions on any of that?
I have a question, Joe.
Yeah.
Since we're going through the process, and that kind of is what kind of trips me up a lot, is how much time are you setting aside? So even though you set 8 appointments and you're expecting to sit with half, you're still prepping for 8, right?
Right.
So how much prep work you're giving per each sit or per each app?
Great question. So it should only take 5 to 10 minutes to prep for an appointment, right? Because the slideshows are already done. And again, if you're trying to figure it out by yourself, you're probably going to take 30 minutes. Versus if you bring your upline all the information, hey, Tammy, I have 2 clients, they're 35 and 40. One is diabetic, the other one is healthy, and their mortgage is 250, right? Somebody's going to say, your upline will say, yep, perfect. You're going to use term 125, and you're going to quote the full mortgage, 250 and 100, and then show them the accidental for the full mortgage payoff. Boom. All you do is go quote it and then send them a picture. Doesn't take more than 5 minutes, right? Versus if you go try to figure it out by yourself, you have no idea, right, of what, well, this one's diabetic and they're 35. Now you're going to go jump on SFG quotes and you're going to look, oh, should I use Americo? Should I use this? And next thing you know, it's 30 minutes later, right? So,
I had a question, Joe.
I love to say is you should learn underwriting 15 minutes at a time, right? Get your options ready and then counsel with your upline and then boom, you'll learn that. Trust me, once you get to like 30 appointments sat, you can almost quote by yourself at that point.
Joe,
Right.
when we're in the appointment, we're in our Zoom appointment, are we we're only showing that PowerPoint presentation. We're not like showing like Navigator or anything like that, or like actual detailed illustrations of each specific policy. We're only really showing the PowerPoint we create.
Correct. So you'll just show the PowerPoint, and then once they say yes, you'll go to the application and you can share the actual application, right? You'll share, right? I need your social because it's asking me for your social. I need your address and this stuff like that.
So everything, the whole pitch is in that PowerPoint that we edit. Like we have our template and then we add the specifics to it.
Correct. And that's if you want to use it, right? I don't use it. My brother uses it. They both work, right? Do what's comfortable for you. I don't share anything. Right. I just go through the whole thing. I'm talking to them. I'm building great rapport. Right. I show them I tell them what it costs. I have them write it down. So if you follow the real script, right, it tells them to write down this. Hey, I'm about to go over your options. So I make them write down the options. And then I just simply say which one you want to do. They're going to tell me this. I start the application. Again, I don't share any screen, right? But you can. My brother, right? Those are the only 2 ways I suggest it works, right? Either you
Are we able to do both? Like have the presentation slide up and still follow the real script?
So the presentation is the real script. So they both mix together, right? So you're going through it, but you're still reading the real script. Absolutely.
And I would suggest when you're new to start with the slides, you may veer from them. But the slides are going to really help you keep on track. That's just what I've seen.
Yeah.
But I'm like Joe, I don't use them anymore, but I definitely did in the beginning to learn.
Right.
Question, Joe. Do you, when you're preparing to do an appointment, and let's say you have a client that has all kind of issues, do you recommend calling the carriers to see what would be the best products?
Yep.
Like,
Counsel
for
with your
example, if it's
upline,
America
counsel with your
or
upline, and do a risk assessment. Absolutely.
okay.
Great question. Anyone else?
Yeah, so are you choosing which carrier to do the risk assessment for the one that you're planning to sell to them? Or okay, just making sure.
So that's a good point, right? So write these down. These is, again, this is how I have my agency do it. Counsel with y'all's agency, make sure, right? Because there's different reasons to use different folks. But the way I do it is if I have a family that I want to help today, my first option is, can I write them with Americo? So write that number, right? The first carrier, can I write them with Americo? If I can't write them for Americo or they get declined, my next option is going to be Mutual of Omaha. And if I can't do Mutual of Omaha, my next carrier is going to be SBLI. And if I can't do SBLI, the next one's going to be American Amicable. And if you've gone through all those, they're going to end up in guaranteed issued. So the next one's going to be Corebridge or AIG. They're the same company, right? Please write that down. That's the order, right? So like, Mickey, I have a case tomorrow, right? You should think, okay, can I write them with Americo? That's the first carrier. They got plenty of products. In reality, if you do it correctly, Americo and Mutual of Omaha is going to write like 90% of your families. And then, right, the other ones will just be because either they're sicker, different situations, or whatever it may be. But if you stick to it that way, Americo is the best signature. You don't even have to, they don't sign anything. It sends you a 6-digit code to their cell phone and you just type it in and boom, you're done. It is literally an 8-minute application if done properly, and it sends it to them. Again, ease, right? We're trying to make it as simple as possible for the client. There is nothing more simple. And then the beauty part is, as you're going through the application, like not even halfway through it, it's going to tell you it declines them. Don't get upset. That is the most beautiful thing that can happen, that it tells you halfway through the application, they won't accept them, because you can pivot to the next one, right? You'll go to Mutual of Omaha. Again, if it gets declined, counsel with your upline. Hey, this one said no. I'm going to go to Mutual of Omaha. Which one should I use? And they'll tell you it's the best process so that you don't get off of your appointment without a policy issued and in place. If you follow that order, those 5 carriers in that order, you are going to help that family no matter what. You're going to get an instant decision, right? 90% of the time if you follow that order for you. So we're right at 10 o'clock. Thank y'all for hopping on. This will be recorded, or this is recorded. If you have any more questions, again, counsel with your upline, right? Or reach out to us. But we'll post this in band so y'all can watch it. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah.